On Monday, Facebook went down. Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't just Facebook. It was a lot of other big name technology companies. And we can learn a lot from what had actually happened. Now, I'm going to just simply tell you this. They are being very tight-lipped about what actually happened. Now, of course, they are giving the company line about what took place and all the engineers getting involved and we had these problems. And as many of you know, I have a very extensive background in technology, so I thought I'd just offer up some commentary on what we can learn from what actually happened on that day. Now, I think perhaps one of the most important things to have a discussion concerning is basically what used to happen and what currently does happen on a regular basis. Now, some of you may or may not know this, but these types of crashes happen on a regular basis, and we just don't know about it, feel it, understand it, or discern it because there are so many redundancies in place that if you have any major components that fail at one point or another, any major servers, any type of backbone or back-end core routers, anything like that that fail, there are so many redundancies in place that you would not even know that such a failure has actually taken place. We see this happening all the time because of the advent of modern technology, and we know that based on the way technology has moved, some of the most incredible advances that we've made in the area of computers happens to be in this particular area. Now, what is particularly interesting for us to learn, especially about the fact that we had the kind of outage that we had on Monday, is how quickly things can change as a result of the actions of some of these big tech companies. You may not recognize this, but I think you're all too intelligent to not recognize. When big tech companies choose to move in any direction, the world literally changes. Understand that the greatest threat that we have right now to the United States of America is not necessarily wrapped up in Marxism, socialism, communism, although all of those things are very, very real dangers. It is certainly not as big of an issue as what we know big tech is capable of doing. Folks, big tech can end the life of a majority of people in this country as they know it. We learned that from the outage that took place on Monday, because as a result of the outage that took place on Monday, many, many companies were seriously damaged financially. Lots of things came to a grinding halt, which created lots of significant problems that a lot of people aren't necessarily even seeing, including the contribution to the global supply chain problem, which is already a nightmare. Folks, you've got to understand something. When the Bible tells us in the last days that things will happen as rapidly as they will based on the descriptions that we read in the Bible, understand God has already allowed the infrastructure to develop in order for that type of thing to happen. When these things come and they come suddenly and quickly, they're coming as a result of the fact that things can change so suddenly and quickly because of how dependent we've become on modern technology. Make no mistake about it. If the world can be so dramatically affected by Facebook being downed for such a relatively short time, imagine what could happen to the world if a big tech company like that chooses to change direction in such a radical way that it removes you of your ability to speak freely, to be able to buy or sell freely, and to be able to live freely. They can do it like that immediately. We are in the last days, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget it. Jesus is coming soon, and the only hope that we have is in what we know from what he's given us. He is our only hope. Understand that in these last days, we are called to be warriors. We are called to be people who will fight against the evils that continue to surround us. Every legal remedy available to us, we must take and use, that we would glorify God by our lives and continue to take a stand for righteousness. This is very important. And if there's one lesson we can learn from what happened on Monday, it would be exactly that. understand this. Our lives have been dramatically changed by the conveniences and by the many things that have happened with big tech, especially in how we look at sociological infrastructures. But it is setting us up for something insane. And make no mistake about it, it is awaiting around the corner. Why do we know that? Because the Bible says it. So look up. Our redemption draws near. God bless you guys.